So welcome back to a brand new episode of Walkin Talkin with Tim. And today's guest is Ginny Hill, who is the CEO of the Girl Scouts of Central and Southern New Jersey. And I think this is really cool because, well, I was never in the Girl Scouts, right?
No, you were not.
I was in the Boy Scouts,
Okay,
and
cool.
I got kicked out, actually.
Oh, that's a story for another day.
That's a story for another day.
Yeah.
But, I was a bad kid. Anyway, so starting off, if you could just tell everybody kind of what, the Girl Scouts are like, what you do and what happens there. Like, what's it all about?
What's it all about, right? So what I would say is first that Girl Scouts is, what you think that you know about Girl Scouts, and then so much more that you don't know, right?
Right.
So everybody knows Girl Scout troops, they know Girl Scout cookies, they know Girl Scout camp. But today's Girl Scouts, and the thing that I think is one of the coolest things about Girl Scouts is throughout our 110-year history, we adapt our programming to meet girls and contemporary needs, right? So today's Girl Scouts can do things like they can get cybersecurity badges.
Oh, cool.
And learn, how to be good hackers, not bad hackers, good hackers, right? They can be on a robotics team.
Loving all this.
They can do archery. In fact, we just had a local girl from West Deptford who started archery at Girl Scouts.
Right.
She's on the archery team. She just won a national girls archery competition.
That's awesome.
All being part of Girl Scouts, right? So there's so much more behind the curtain. And what I do is I'm the regional executive. So my job is to make sure, as I tell the girls, that they're having fun, that they are getting the opportunities to do the things they want to do, and that they have the adult volunteers and the support to make sure that all that happens.
So first interesting question, were you a Girl Scout?
I was.
Is that so?
I was. It's not a prerequisite for employment at the Girl Scouts.
I was just curious. I'm thinking.
It is not.
I'm thinking. I would imagine you probably were.
Yeah, I was. And the funny thing about that is just recently I was digging through a box of like old stuff, that I had accumulated.
Yeah.
And I found a newspaper clipping from when I had been promoted in a previous job many years ago. And in that article, they must have asked me something about, how did I know I was going to be a leader? When did I? And I said, because of Girl Scouts. But I never
really?
knew that I actually said that.
And it came full circle.
That's
Crazy. Awesome.
Crazy.
So what's your favorite, I got to ask this question. I know it's going to be, people are going to go, really? But what's your favorite Girl Scout cookie?
It's the new one, the Adventureful.
Really?
Which, if you have not tasted Adventurefuls, you gotta have them.
No, I'm still locked on Thin Mints in the freezer.
Salted caramel center. you had me at salted caramel. That's one of my favorite things.
I probably would too.
Yeah,
but
it's awesome.
I still, Thin Mints in the freezer. Come on.
Those are great too. Vanilla ice cream, a little bit of caramel syrup.
There you go. Love that.
Yep. There
Love
you
that.
go.
So we talked a little bit about, obviously you guys all know I asked lots of questions. So we talked about you have a big family.
I have
right?
a very blended family.
You have a very big blended family. That's very cool.
Yep.
So you are from Delaware.
I am.
And is your whole family from Delaware, or you guys are all spread around?
No, we're spread around. So together, my husband and I have 4 sons, 1 daughter, 2 kids that live in the Northeast Philly area, 2 that live down in Florida, opposite ends of the state, 1 in Gainesville, 1 in Miami, and then a middle son who lives in Lincoln University, PA. So all, kind of spread around, but all East Coast, so it's doable.
It's all doable.
Doable.
So, and speaking of Florida, we talked about the fact that we're both like huge Disney nerds. This keeps coming up in interviews.
I think I win though, because you don't have a list.
You might win. you might talk to my wife and she might tell you different, but I'm a pretty huge Disney nerd. But yeah, I love it there. And so you said you love it there too.
I do.
And you can I share what you told me?
Sure.
You actually want to someday when you retire actually kind of work there?
I do. So my
I actually think the same thing.
Do you?
Yeah.
Well, there's for those of you that know Disney World, when you walk in Magic Kingdom, there's a store to the left called the Emporium, and my whole idea is if you work there at night, every night you get to see the fireworks. I love the fireworks, and I actually like crowds, which many people don't like crowds, but I do. So I like things that are lots of people.
Well, that's cool though. I mean, to be able to do that would be pretty cool. I remember when we went with the kids when they were younger. I remember when they had the people in the stores that would draw, the artists, you know.
Oh yeah. Characters,
And they would teach the kids how to draw at those tables. They're not really there much these days, you know.
Right.
But I know it's kind of a drag, right? It's a little heartbreaker, that one. But you know, that was cool. You know, you saw that and you're thinking, no, this is pretty cool. I'd like to hang out here.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
And you know, because when we go, don't you get that kind of like people say, oh, you know, you go there and you're like a zombie. I'm like, yeah, exactly. That Disney music's on and I'm like, yep.
Yeah.
I'm good. My keys are away. I'm walking.
Yeah. Well, I have, at hard points in my life, like when I went through my divorce with a previous marriage, that was my escape. Because when I go there, it's about fun and childhood and fantasy, and I know it sounds a little
everything
wonky,
else goes away.
It's relaxing to me. It's not. I don't come home tired.
You don't need a car. You don't need anything. You don't have to think about anything.
Yep.
And everything else just goes away, right?
Yep.
So we'll stay in Disney for a second because we'll talk about Crush.
Oh.
So I'm going to bring Crush up because you're passionate about
sea turtles
and the ocean, right?
I am.
So do you like that particular attraction?
Oh, I do. In fact, the funny thing was I was down there recently with my 12-year-old granddaughter.
Did he talk to you?
And, well, what was funny is there were many things where she was like, no, I'm too big for that, Gigi. I'm not doing it. And then when we went into Epcot, she was like, please, can we please go see Crush? And there she is, and she's a very tall 12-year-old sitting in the middle of all the 3 and 4-year-olds. It was the best moment I had on that whole trip because I'm like, yay, Ava still got it, right? She acts like a big girl, but she still got it. So, yes, we did. And I am passionate about sea turtles and clean oceans because my two things really for vacation are Disney and beach. So anything where there's sand and water, I'm in.
And you said that the other thing that you really liked and you were passionate about was learning about different things that were included lots of diversity. So talk about that just a little bit.
Yeah, so I spent several years of my career at the YWCA organization, whose mission is to empower women and eliminate racism. So from the women and girls space, that part of my career, I was helping women who had fallen on hard times, kind of fishing them out of the river. And now I'm working with girls, hopefully building them to be strong so they never end up in the river, right? So that kind of connects. The other very powerful part of the YW, though, is its commitment to racial justice. And, I've always been interested in diverse cultures and people that were different than me. We shared earlier, my college experience kind of opened my eyes to that a bit. And so I'm continuing to do that work and to really, help other white leaders in particular figure out that it's not so hard if you're intentional and methodical, but you have to be vulnerable too, and you have to
explore,
meet people and talk to people and really want to be genuine with them. And I think that's fascinating. This made my life very, very rich, which is
it's awesome.
That's what it's all about.
Yeah, it is what it's all about. So also we talked about your favorite place to go, your happy place.
Happy place. Fort Myers Beach.
There it is.
On the west coast of Florida. Yes, it is. It is my happy place. I actually have a koozie that says it right on there. Fort Myers Beach is my happy place. Yeah.
And if you reach out to Ginny, she'll give you the address, and whenever you want to stop down, margaritas and that sort of thing, it's all good.
Yeah. Or just some relaxing time on the beach. Yep.
And you said the second best place you like was Cancun, right? But not like the big party spot, but like Cancun in general is the beach.
Yeah, the south part.
You're a beach girl, you said.
My husband and I are both sun, sand, water people. Yes. So that is, I don't think you'll find us in the mountains. You're not going to find us skiing. We're not huge fans of snow.
Hold up on the mountain thing, because you said that there's 3 places that if you could have 3 dream places to have, one of them was a farm, right?
Well, but that's because my husband likes the farm.
I know, but that's clearly,
He wants a farm, so he can garden and play outside.
Drive
and
his John Deere.
Tractor. Yes, that would be nirvana.
Does he have a John Deere?
It's not a John Deere. It's another one, but yes.
Yes, okay.
Yes, absolutely.
We're going to have to talk to him about the John Deere thing. You got to get that hat, man.
Yeah, exactly.
There's nothing like the John Deere hat. Come on.
That's right.
So having said all that, so we talked about all things that you're pretty passionate about. So if you were giving advice, I mean, since you're a leader of young women, right? So if you're giving advice to young women coming up, even young kids in general, you know, and I ask this question all the time, and not just, I mean, I guess for you, it's a little different because I often ask people about this question when kids are heading to like college and into the workplace, but I guess it's like deeper than that because you are always dealing with younger kids. So what would your advice be to just a generation of younger, you know, I guess mostly women coming up, as to what their next steps in life are? Like, what would you tell them? Like, hey, look out for these things.
Yeah, well, I think it's two things. I mean, I think one is, you know, pause to reflect and learn who you are, right? So when I look back at my life now, it makes complete logical sense. But in the moments, it often felt like I was losing control, right? And that was because I was never very good at reflection and thinking. And I think this generation of women is so much more about that. And they're also so much more about intentionality than maybe I was. Things happened by accident for me. Whereas, you know, when I meet girls who say to me, I want to be a nonprofit CEO. I'm like, really? I didn't have any idea what I wanted to do when I was 11.
They're big thinkers these days,
They
man.
are. I mean, because the world is more open to them, right?
Yes.
So I think it's that. It's authentic. And then the second part is figure out what your voice is. And don't let anybody tell you your voice isn't loud enough or good enough. It's yours, right? So some of us are quiet people. Some of us are shyer people. Some of us are more boisterous people. And some of us are more talkative people. And I think too often girls get a message that they're less than if there's something that doesn't fit in that moment. So just to like hold on to that and just be you, do you, be you and do you, you know, that's it. And then the third thing, which is what I tell my kids all the time, is surround yourself with good people, right? You gotta have a posse, you gotta have, and you know, it's interesting, my youngest right now,
People that you trust.
Yeah, people that you trust and people that have the same values that you do.
And will support you.
And I think my youngest son it's interesting. He is learning now, you know, like he's seeing that, you know, for the first time, and just said to me, you know, I remember when you always said that, and now, you know, I'm really thinking about that. Like, yep, it's important.
As the father of two daughters, I know exactly what you mean.
Yep.
So
yeah, it's especially important for girls.
It's a tough journey,
important.
you know,
Yeah.
for everybody.
Yep.
You know, the girls and the parents.
Yeah. Yep.
But it's fun. Like
It
you
is
said,
fun.
at the time you're like, why is all this stuff happening? But then when you get to the other side, you're going, oh, I see why that happened now.
Yeah.
So it all makes sense.
And it is good. I mean, it's one of the things that is really important about the all girl environment in Girl Scouts too, is that, you know, when girls are around other girls, they're more likely, when they feel safe and the relationships are tight, to be able to try things, or, you know, not be so worried about whether they look goofy. You know, I love going to Girl Scout summer camp every summer because the girls are always like, yeah, I don't have to worry about my hair and I don't have to wear makeup, and you know, nobody cares what I look like. It's just all about bonding and having fun and, you know, being goofy. And, you know, that's important for their mental health. It's important for their emotional wellness, and just, you know, in general, for having fun.
Absolutely, in general. Nah, that's awesome.
Yep.
Let's try not to get hit by this little car coming up here. It happens every once in a while. You get cornered in between a couple of cars.
Yes, we do.
All right, so if people wanted to get a hold of you or just check out the Girl Scouts, how would they do either of those things?
Okay, so girlscouts.org, and from there you can put in your zip code or whatever. That'll connect you to Girl Scouts. Easiest way to find me is probably on social media. So Ginny Burke, B-U-R-K-E, Hill, will get you to my LinkedIn, you know, all of those things. That's where you find me.
There you go. So thanks for being on.
Sure, my pleasure.
This was great. And to everybody out there, thanks for watching. Thanks for following. Keep on moving. And we will see you next time on Walkin' and Talkin' with Tim.
Bye, everybody.
See you.